think that people need to get together in person. I think that we need to foster communities at a number of different levels. And I think that it's been, every level has seen some level of neglect. And, I think everyone should do their best, and I'd encourage everyone to do their best between, one-on-one relationships and with their families. And then I'm encouraging people to reach out in their, church communities, in their neighborhoods, in their cities, in their states, schools, in the nation. Like, I want to see some things where everyone can get together and have a shared experience. And some of that means that, we have to compromise. Like, I don't think that Avengers Endgame or Avengers Infinity War or Spider-Man No Way Home, I don't think that this is the most amazing movie ever, right? But I think it's a fun time. I think that it matters to get people together, to have the shared narrative, to be able to talk to people about things, to get on the same wavelength with other people. And part of going to, let's say, Spider-Man No Way Home is having that experience in the theater. It's not the same if we were sitting at home watching it, right? So part of it, I think, is an encouragement to get into these physical spaces, whether that be a state fair or a county fair or a movie theater. I think getting into those physical spaces really matters.
So you're not an advocate for the metaverse?
Gosh.
Is that what I'm hearing? No metaverse, no. I mean, the past couple years have been, I think, have really set us back to some level there, because everyone's gotten so used to just being at home, away from people.
Yeah.
And I even say this as someone who, I really like being at home.
I love working at home so much. I can't stress that enough. I want to just take a pause, and we can circle back to this. I want to be clear. I am most definitely not technologically inept. Neither are you. I love working from home. We're on the younger side in the workforce, so and we've got kind of white collar, you'd say, like desk jobs. So we've been working from home 5 days a week, and as of late, me 4 days a week. So it's not like I'm saying, oh, let's get everyone back in person in the office. I'm not necessarily advocating for that, but I do think that people need to do that on their own time, and the communities do need to be fostered.
Somewhere, I think. Like, obviously, you can't be a heavily involved member of every type of community you find yourself in.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be heavily involved socially at my work and at my church and at my community and at my, my local city and in, all these different spheres.
Yeah. There are sacrifices that need to be made.
You need to find where you want to invest yourself in and get involved, right? I think we do that at our church a lot. I think that's kind of the main place where we try to do that, and with our families. Like, we see our family a lot, and we hang out with our families and do stuff with them. I'm not saying you have to go to everything or always want to be in person around people. Like, we are two massive introverts sitting here advocating to get out and be around people.
Quite introverted, yeah.
But, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, the past couple years, I think, have set us back as a society on a whole, because, like I was saying, people have gotten used to being home, not leaving their house, not being around people. Like, at our church, people got used to just watching church online. Yeah. That it took a long time for people to actually start coming back to church. And I think even now we still have fewer people than we did 2.5 years ago or whatever. And it's hard to get people back into it, because it's easy to just stay home and isolate yourself from people, and both physically but also on a emotional connective level. It's easy to isolate yourself from people, and I'm not saying there's not a place or a time to do that, but but humans aren't meant to be alone all the time.
Yeah, we're
And they
designed
shouldn't
for
be.
community.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah, I think, as an introvert at least, I kind of view, some of these events, and I'm not saying that I never regret going to some event or wish I hadn't, but
Oh, so often you
but
despise going to events that I
yeah,
drag you to.
gosh. But I also recognize, some of it's like I'm kind of like a child with it, like groaning, oh, I don't want to go. I kind of got this with a book I was reading recently where it was so hard to start it. It was so hard to start the book. And finally you were just like, dude, you just got to start this book. It was one of my goals this year, every 4 months to read one book. So 3 books throughout the whole year. I know
Lofty goal.
it's probably a pathetic goal to many people, but as somebody who has not done a whole lot of reading,
You like listening
as
to
of late.
things.
Yeah, usually I'm listening to things,
Yeah.
but one of the caveats here is I'm not doing Audible or something like that. That would be very easy for me. It's that I got to sit down and actually be reading words,
Turning pages.
turning pages. I think that, there's a level of vocabulary and, like written word understanding,
Spelling.
spelling that you help reinforce. But I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent. Anyway, I was really struggling to start this book, but once I started it, I read a whole book in 4 or 5 days.
Oh, not even. You were reading that book a lot.
Yeah.
And
So
willingly, like in your free
Yeah.
time, it's what you wanted to go do.
once I got
Sometimes
started,
you need
so,
to just get started. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you also were I had been volunteering at our church for a while, and I had been saying to you, like, come on, you should come.
yeah,
You should start volunteering. And sometimes just getting started with
Mm-hmm.
getting involved in some way is really the hardest part. And once you
Yeah.
get into it and you're in the habit, like, it can be a very positive thing. Now, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you love volunteering at church. And I think
Yeah.
it's great because it gets us meeting people and talking to people and being in this community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said this before, but that like, at least for us right now, that's really where we try to put ourselves in a situation where we're building a community of people around us or getting to know people. Is that
Yeah.
some people do that at work. Like, a lot of people that I work with are very much like, we need to get back into the office, start working together, collaborating in person. There's nothing like being in person.
Mm-hmm.
And some people really invest in their social community lives at work.
Sure.
To be honest, like, I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something I need to work on. I don't know. But work isn't really that place where I feel invested in trying to foster a social community that I'm around. I mean, I think I work well with the people that I work with
Mm-hmm.
from a technical standpoint, but I'm not the one jumping into work social events or anything.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think certain communities are easier to build than others. I mean, I went on a work trip and had a bunch of really in-depth discussions with a couple of work colleagues. It's a long story and probably one we'll address at another time. But yeah, I think sometimes though we fail to recognize a few of the instances where we are doing that. So for instance, like we mentioned, we went to Spider-Man. Okay, we went to, so in the last couple of years, we've actually gone to see a fair amount of like big box movies in the theaters. But like part of that is going in and having that shared experience. And I think that, that's something that people really ought to think about and to foster. If that means that you're going into the office more, if that means that you're reaching out to your church community, I think things can be different for each person, but really fostering those communities, I think matters. And it's been really easy, like you said, during the pandemic to just kind of hole yourself up. It's real easy to say, well, I can just turn on church online, or, well, I'll just wait until it's on Netflix. I don't need to go to the theater, right? Like, what's the difference? There, you can have a much better experience sometimes when you're in the theater and you're totally focused on watching Batman and everyone's freaking out. Oh my gosh, he came on screen for the first time. I can't believe it. And
Hmm.
people are freaking out.
Yeah, well, there's really something special about
Yeah.
experiencing something live with other people around you.
Yeah.